As principal of TF South, I'm almost embarrassed to come to you in the middle of the school year, at the beginning of a new calendar year, because I know we don't have enough time to talk about everything that's going on in the middle of the school year. But let's talk about most important things first, and that is, how is TF South doing academically in terms of the preparation and moving the students on? How are you doing?
I think we're doing pretty well. Yeah, we had a very successful first semester. We had a good percentage of our students passing all their classes, great attendance rate, behavior's been very, very good. And then, so they finished their first semester successfully. We've gotten our seniors to apply to colleges. We pretty much force them all to apply to at least one school. So they've complied. They've all applied to a college or a university. And they're getting their acceptance letters back, and they're getting their scholarship notifications back. And so far, they have reported $3.3 million in scholarship awards.
Already?
Already. And it's pretty early in the season yet. And there's also those kids that just never bring their letters in, so we always think that we probably have another $500,000 out there or more.
Now, that process, obviously, every student isn't necessarily going to college, but it's part of preparing them and their families for that eventuality or opportunity. Backing up, how many students are currently enrolled at TF South?
We have 1,850, give or take a couple.
And virtually all of the seniors are applying for college, getting good response in terms of acceptance. So that says something too about your faculty and the academics. And how does TF South rank, whether, I'm not exactly sure how you would do that in terms of the state or the region. How do you evaluate that as an administration and faculty?
I think that most high schools are doing the same push to get their students to look into the future and to apply to colleges and apply for scholarships. Our philosophy here, though, is to do whatever it takes to help the students.
There's been a huge emphasis both on facilities, technology, resourcing outside. Where do you feel things are at with TF South right now? TF South pretty state-of-the-art, students getting what they need in terms of local resources and technology?
I think so. There's always room for growth, and there's always room for more technology, but we have several, actually 12 pilot programs with classroom sets of iPads that stay with those teachers all day long. So the kids are using iPads. We've also started letting students use their cell phones for a lot of the stuff that they can do in class. There's a lot of interaction between the internet and their classroom, what's going on in the classroom and the student. We have smart boards in the classrooms and smart TVs in the classrooms, and it's really a challenge, because as soon as you think, hey, we've caught up, more stuff is coming out, and that requires more money. So it's a real struggle to keep up with technology, but we're doing the best we can in that area.
Graduation rates or personal one-on-one, how is that going for? I know that's been an emphasis on your part and the faculty's part here. Yeah,
our graduation rate has remained above 90%. I think last year was 92%. And that's the graduation rate isn't just like, okay, these are the kids that graduate, nobody dropped out, or 8% dropped out. That's not what that means. It's the number of kids who started at TF South and then graduated. So it doesn't count students that move out.
Yeah, and I know the faculties of many students and administrations have been forced over these past couple of decades to really be data-driven, but your heart and soul and education and mind has still been toward providing what individual students need. So what are the resources that you have to help these students on an individual basis accomplish their goals academically?
Well, I think it depends. We do different things for students at different grade levels. So for our freshmen, we have a program called RTI. So those students that aren't doing well, there's small class, 10, 15 students that work with a teacher who basically stays on top of them, keeps them organized, communicates with their teachers, makes sure they're doing their homework, make sure their locker's organized, they're putting things in their daily agenda. We have extended math classes, so instead of just 1 hour of algebra, those students who struggle, they get an hour and a half, so there's 30-minute extra time where they're on the computer. We have a program called Carnegie Math, so they use that. We do that for geometry as well. We have, math teachers that are in the cafeteria almost every period, and they just walk around and look for, students know they're math teachers. They see a math teacher if they need help with their math homework. They flag them down in the cafeteria. For the seniors, to help them be successful, we have the workshops so that they get help filling out their college applications. We actually have their parents come in on parent-teacher conference in the fall. They come in and help them with their college applications. I should say the parents go through it with them, and we have help available if the family needs help filling out the college application. And then, of course, we have the financial aid workshops and, assemblies and, the counselors going out for different programs.
It goes on and on in the academics, I realize, but one of the things that TF South is also known for is many of the extracurricular and the student involvement in various local events and so on. Talk a little bit about first semester and what's coming up this semester in kind of that extracurricular arena, sports and music and community service and so on.
Yeah, we've had, there's always something going on. Every day of the week, including Saturday, there's something going on. So I'm really a big fan of the arts, so I can tell you that we've had 2 choral concerts in the fall, and we've had 1 band concert. Our fall musical was Once Upon a Mattress, and they did 3 performances in the evenings, very well attended, plus they did matinees for the junior highs and the elementary schools in the community. And it was a very successful production. The choral director and the band director and the theater director, everybody worked together, and the kids were really successful. It was great. Athletics, if nothing else, it's sportsmanship. We probably could win that all the time, but people would think it's fixed, But our kids they're just great. We had a good football season. Basketball season is still in progress. They're doing quite well. And cross country, all the sports. But I think the important thing is to look at our athletes and what they're doing. And in the fall, 6 of our teams made the Illinois High School Association honor roll for having a grade point average of a 3 or above, which is really an accomplishment for athletes.
Speaking of sports-related events, you have something exciting coming up very shortly here.
Yes, we do. We have student athletes that have graduated from South that have gone on to play in the major leagues. And the NFL is recognizing 2 of our graduates, Dave Smith and Pierre Thomas, because both of those went on to the NFL, and they both played in a Super Bowl.
Super Bowl guys, Super Bowl rings they've got.
Yeah, they do, and they sent us beautiful gold footballs, which we'll present Friday night, a week from Friday, the 29th, at the basketball game. They'll be honored, and then those footballs will be on display in our cafeteria hallway, so when people come in for that pancake breakfast, they can go over and look at the display case. They're really beautiful footballs.
And then, of course, on the other end, in the baseball world, you've got
Curtis Granderson. Yeah, and he's absolutely wonderful. He's been so generous for the past. I've been principal now for 6 years, and he's been extremely generous. And this year, with the help of New Balance, he donated a pair of shoes for every single one of our athletes. And then on top of that, he gave us about $2,500 worth of baseball equipment. Sports
is always a strong interest, but you started out discussing the arts, and I know there was one thing that you didn't mention. You kind of resurrected the Madrigal dinners last fall, or
yes.
How did that go?
It was fantastic. We have a new choir director, and this is something she wanted to do. And when people have that passion, it's going to succeed.
Yeah.
So we gave her the green light, and the theater director, Ann Whitting, helped her by digging out the costumes that we had, because I don't think we've run it for about 15 years. Got those costumes cleaned up, and we had Rick Keeley helped us, the students, with the set, beautiful set, and it looked like when people entered that they were walking into a castle. Had the meal catered, and it was just a fantastic performance. Everybody that came this year, there were 100 people, it was limited, say they're coming back next year. So we're going to schedule 2 performances for next year.
It's going to grow from there.
It's going to grow, but the set was so beautiful. It was on the stage. That was the whole set, and that's where everybody sat. And it really felt like you were entering the hall of a castle.
Sports, arts, and I know that one of your emphases over these years has been student involvement in the community, student clubs, student engagement in caring for others. What's been happening this year, and what do you see coming up for the spring in the student arena there?
Well, you know, every fall we work on, we have drives for cancer to collect funds to donate for cancer awareness and cancer prevention and research. We also do a lot of food drives. You know, and every Halloween our thespians have a food drive, and they usually collect around 3,000 pounds of canned food, which goes to our local food pantry, which is, it's a lot of cans, really, yeah.
One of the unique moments that you went through this year had to do with awarding a diploma to someone who should have graduated a long, long time ago. Do you want to talk about that a little bit?
C.P. Crawford. C.P. Crawford, I think he's about 109 years old. He lives in a local nursing home. And this man always felt that he got cheated in life because he didn't get an education. And that was his wish, that somehow he'd be able to get an education. Well, at 109, we decided that he has enough life experience to earn a high school diploma. And so we gave him an honorary diploma. We had a little ceremony out in our grand lobby for him. And he really, boy, he's in really great shape, really sharp as a tack. Our students, we had students that came down to witness this because, you know, a lot of times kids don't realize how important and how valuable their education was. And so for them to talk to a man, because he answered questions one-on-one with the kids probably for 15 minutes, the kids got to hear his life story, you know, that he started working when he was 4 years old, picking cotton in a field, and then working as a dishwasher and selling newspapers, and, you know, just everything. 109 years is a long time, and the kids interacted with him really well. He was very, very good with the kids.
That in itself must have been a huge educational moment for a lot of the students.
It really was, and it was just a great ceremony. There were people from the nursing home. We had about maybe 100 kids down in the lobby to talk, and then we had teachers who had a planned period or were on lunch period came down. Some of our school board members were here. It was a very, very nice ceremony.
Not to put you back 108 years ago, but you've been involved in education for a long time, a number of different institutions. If you're speaking to a parent right now who may be seeing this, who for the first time is going to enroll their student this summer or this fall in a high school, or those who are thinking back, what do you want to say to parents and the community about the importance of what goes on here in this high school and their support and engagement with the school?
You know, high school is a big step in a student's life, and for a lot of our parents, it's the first time they're sending a student to high school. I think parents should realize that high school has changed a lot since they graduated from high school, and they need to be involved. We have a parent-teacher association. We have booster clubs. We now have parent liaisons that work with our parents to help, you know, help meet their needs. So they have monthly meetings, and they have a guest speaker at the meetings covering topics that would be of interest to parents. But parents need to be involved. If they can get their children involved in sports and activities, then they should attend those sports and activities to make sure that the students understand that they're supporting it as well, you know, as all the effort that they're putting into it. Being visible is really important for the kids to see that and support what's going on in schools. So a lot of times our parents, and as a parent I wanted to do this too, we know our children so well, and we couldn't possibly think that they're going to do something that they just did. I think it's important for parents, no matter what they're thinking about the situation, not to say it to the students if they want to address, you know, like, I really don't think my student is guilty of that. You know what, address it with the administrators involved. Leave the student out, don't tell the student, because that undermines us. It would be like us saying to the parent, to the student, hey, you know, your parents don't know what they're talking about. It's the same difference. And attend everything, you know, get involved as much as we can and know what's going on, and don't listen to hearsay in the neighborhood. So if parents hear something that they don't really think, hey, that can't really be going on, then they should pick up the phone and they should call, and we'll be happy to answer their questions. And we also have an app for District 215. They can download it. It's free, and they'll get a daily update that tells them what's happening this week or what's happening today at TF District. So it's South and North, but the whole district. So they'll notify them games, dances, musicals, whatever we have going on, it's on there. And then we also have a weekly newsletter. It's electronic, and it gets delivered directly to their email, and that's called Quick Notes. And the link to that is on our webpage, so parents can click on there and sign themselves up, and every Friday they'll get a newsletter, and it takes maybe 5 minutes to read. It's just highlights of what went on this week and what to look forward to the following week.
You spoke specifically to parents because that was part of the question, but as kind of my last question, this school would not be here without the community, both the emotional support, the engagement of the community, but obviously the financial related to it. What do you want to say to the community at large about this place called TF South? Many people have driven by it perhaps for years, never had a kid here, or no longer have a kid here for 20 or 30 years. What do you want to say to your community about TF South and their involvement with this school?
Come to our games, come to our pancake breakfast, come to our different events and activities that go on, and I assure you, you will not be disappointed. We have really, really good kids here, and a lot of times the reputation for teenagers in general just isn't fair. Our kids are willing to do community service, they're willing to help out. We do have a big service project coming up in the spring. It's the St. Jude Walkathon, and that's to raise money for St. Jude's Children's Hospital. Last year we raised about $11,000.
Wow.
So kids will be going out asking for sponsors for that. And the other thing that we have going on, and there'll be a ceremony at the end of the year, hopefully, if we can raise enough money. We are purchasing plaques for every TF South grad that lost their life in a war, whether it was Vietnam or Persian Gulf. And there's a wall of honor that's going up in the grand lobby.
Another way the community can become involved.
Yes.
After all, this is the community's school, is it not?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And they're welcome in here anytime. Well, not during the school day.
Well, Judy, as I don't want to call him the captain, but as the principal of the school over these years, and we're just so grateful you took time to just give us a little update of what's happening. We wish you the best as you and your team and the faculty focus in on getting the students through and on into the spring, and perhaps springtime we can come back and do one last checkup on how the school year went.
That would be great. That would be absolutely wonderful.
Thank you.
Thank you.